Hello Pokemon XYZ fans, Draspee here. Today we're going to be talking about episode 35 and the plot, the characters, Amore shipping, things like that. You know, the usual stuff. This episode was great. I loved it. It was excellent. It's everything you expect from a League episode. Probably the worst leagues would probably be Black and White and Hoenn. Not to get too much into that, but I loved it for all the reasons I like leagues. As you get to see all the characters come together, you get to see all the themes you've seen throughout the series come together in one final thing, with hints of the final plot being played out around you and just kind of being put to the side. But in this one, they're still subtly there with Alain, because the League is kind of a chance to put everything to the side, yet at the same time all be present. And I feel like right now XYZ is doing a very good job of that. This episode especially shows that. Good example would be in the beginning, we get to see Ash. We get to see what was going to be a rather cliche moment where AG Slash comes out, wrecks Ash's strategy, one-hit KOs Pikachu, GG, next Pokemon. Nope. Actually, we see Ash pull out a brilliant thing, which actually in previous generations he probably never would have. Pikachu surviving a hit like that is not super uncommon. It's happened before, but this is something rather new. This is a really rare that Pikachu survives a blow, and then Pikachu survives a second blow too. Pikachu's resilience, I think, might be a nod to the raising of Pikachu's defensive stats in this generation, but I also think that it's a nod just to how strong Pikachu is and its bond with Ash and how it allows it to endure a lot. And I kind of saw that being an enduring theme throughout this, as in we saw Goodra actually hold on and use Bide through a huge flamethrower attack, and then take out Slurpuff, just after taking much abuse from Dazzling Gleam and the like, and being able to bite its way through all that, which I thought was quite amazing, actually. And then it fainted, so we showed basically it was knocked out from all the damage, but it still held on just long enough to release a Bide. And then, of course, we saw Noivern giving its all and taking out Salamence with it. So we just see a lot of giving your all with Ash's Pokemon, even though they aren't bonded to him the same way as Greninja is. You see, I'm not throwing Ash Greninja in here with it because that's a special category in and of itself. But in general, it seems that Ash's Pokemon have this incredible bond with him. And then I've noticed that Sawyer's Pokemon seem to lack that bond. Sawyer reminds me of Conway, as in the way he uses his Pokemon is very strategical. He has more of a bond than Conway does. He uses the same Pokemon, but he almost has with him more of an assembled, this is the perfect tournament team sort of way. Where Ash doesn't really seem to care so much about how his Pokemon will actually perform, as we see that his team is usually pretty much wrecked by any ice types he comes across. Ice and electric are huge uh-ohs for his team, but otherwise Ash seems to actually be pretty okay with taking him on with his abilities, because for Ash it doesn't seem to matter too much who the Pokemon is, it's just how he uses them. And that's kind of Ash's style, because he doesn't really plan for things. He takes the situation as is, and he takes it on with what he has with him, his friends, his Pokemon. It's more about the bond with him. And that's one thing that I've seen kind of lacks with Sawyer. He does the same thing with Sceptile, but again, with the exception of Sceptile, Sawyer seems to be very strategical in the way he battles. And that's probably been his major flaw, is he relies a lot upon strategy, and we saw how much he freaked out when he lost his notebook. He relies so much on strategy that it becomes an issue for him, almost a handicap, if you will. So that's Sawyer in a nutshell with Ash. I really liked how that battle resolved. Pikachu just kind of seemed to be used almost as fodder in the end. I know it was kind of supposed to be significant, but they had to get rid of Pikachu because they could have just sent out Greninja versus Sceptile first. They had to have Pikachu taken down to give us that moment where Ash walks on the battlefield and carries Pikachu off. I think they were spending a lot of time trying to stress that Ash and Pikachu still have a strong bond, because I think that we've been kind of getting a feeling that Pikachu and Ash's bond has been undercut recently by the Ash Greninja theme, especially with Greninja being out of the Pokeball a lot. It almost seems like we're having the Pikachu bond being downplayed a bit, with Ash even abandoning Pikachu to go find Greninja. But I feel like this episode and recently we've been seeing a lot of stuff to try to reassure us that no, Ash still has a strong thing going with Pikachu. He still has a lot of stuff going. They're buddies. They've been with each other forever. And Sawyer acknowledges that too when he's observing them. And actually, Ash's friends also acknowledge it, that Pikachu has a strong bond with with Ash. And of course, then we get to see Ash's friends, speaking of strong bonds. Ash's three annoying callous friends, Tierno, Trevor, and Shauna, the TTS, are, as usual, just kind of worried and just kind of like, whoa, wow, kind of in awe and shock at the battle. Because it just seems like, they haven't had the best luck in the tournament so far. I mean, Elaine, Trevor, and Ash, respectively. I mean, like, Shauna was knocked out by Serena in the showcase. Tierno was knocked out, and so was Trevor in the tournament pretty early on by Sawyer and Elaine, who might be going on to the finals. So it feels like the trio there has been kind of had this unfortunate circumstance of being good, but not good enough to beat the heroes, almost. Which I guess is nice, because I mean, what we've noticed with the Callous rivals is they're challenging enough, but they aren't so challenging that they actually defeat them. So they provide a nice push, I suppose you could say, and a lot of people have noted this. I'm not the first to say this. So I guess this episode really brings out kind of the rivals, sort of the way they've been observing Ash, because I know we've kind of seen them having a lot of casual encounters with him and like how they interact, but I think this episode shows us that they really have been paying attention and they do care about what's going on with Ash, and Ash does care what's going on about them that we might not have noticed as much during the rest of the series. I mean, it's been there, but it's been harder to notice because we see them so little. I mean, like, compared to some other main characters. And we met them like halfway through XY as well, which might have been part of the factor. So that was nice and all to see that happen. And like, heck, even Sawyer, like, we haven't had the rivalry build up with Sawyer has also been pretty short-lived because how that thing has just played out, because he came really late again in the series. Yeah, also mainly because we were focusing on Amore shipping in the beginning. And speaking of Amore shipping, we have the Serena and Ash thing going on. Serena spends a lot of time worrying about Ash. A lot of time worrying and fretting about Ash, which she should. She should, because I mean, like, we should be feeling how Serena does throughout this thing, like, and how all the friends do, to be honest, because like, usually Ash gets knocked out by this point. Like, he's knocked out by number 4. But nope, he stays in, and that's great. We should all be really excited for that, because Ash is in the top 2. Like, even if Ash doesn't win, he's in the top 2, which is a first, to be honest. And if he becomes champion in Sun and Moon, great. But he's in the top 2 right now, so that's good. That's good. But how does Serena act? I think Serena's reaction just shows how much she definitely cares about Ash, and I think it just shows that that she definitely cares about him in a legitimate way. Like, she's not like concerned. She's wishing the best for him, because to love someone is to wish good for another, and she definitely wishes good for him. Like, all her actions, like even this battle in the beginning where she helps Halucha, a lot of what she's been doing so far has always been consistent with wishing the good of Ash. And, I mean, like, she's had her slip-ups occasionally, which was to humanize her, and that's definitely a good thing. Like, I've noted that my favorite episode is probably when she did slip up, because when she got mad at him, because that showed her humanness. That prevented this from being a Mary Sue relationship, so to speak. And that's all been fine. That's great, actually. I love that this has happened. I'd say Serena and Ash's relationship has gone miles, so to speak. I should probably just do a separate video on how that works. I have a lot of separate videos I should be doing, but right now I'm a little busy with my cousins from Canada here, Brick Bros Production. So that's that with Ash and Serena. A great episode, I think, that just shows us how far their relationship has gone, and just the way she reacted, and because, yeah, she's at the point where she's not just the silent observer anymore. She can actively cheer him on without being super embarrassed, although obviously she blushes when he wins, because, that also might just be the overflowing of emotions as well. So we're not gonna, I don't know how to read into that one, but for sure, there were a lot of emotions going on. I mean, like, you can sometimes blush just if you're just so excited. Yeah. But that's that. Ash beats Sawyer, and I think Sawyer was at peace with that. Like, Sawyer was really impressed by Ash's performance. A lot, to be obvious. Like, I mean, he put in his all, but probably my most favorite reactions from the entire cast in the thing was when Noivern and Salamence take each other out. Everybody watches as, like, they go down. They're just like, just silence. Everybody, Team Rocket, Malva, everybody, just silence. And then like the dust clears and they're both knocked out, and then just like the crowd's still silent, and the announcer's like KO, KO, and just like click, click. It just like shows like how shocked everyone is. And the second one, not everybody's not so shocked anymore, but like I feel like we get during the second one the kind of worry that we kind of felt as an audience, because it seems like Ash is putting a lot of abuse on Gudra with the Bide thing. And I think they notify that, like, by the concern that the characters were showing for how Gudra was holding up to that and whether it was going to work. But it all worked out in the end, so that was nice. It all worked out in the end. Gudra and Slurpuff went down at the same time. Pikachu is used as a weakening point on Mega Sceptile. And then we got Mega Greninja. Now, Mega Greninja, this is when the second... Mega Greninja was amazing during this fight. With its ninja skills, its quickness, and then, like, I liked how they showed Ash, the Ash Greninja kind of bond in this one. That was amazing, too. And they also kind of showed how the Mega Evolution is similar, with Sawyer kind of close to Sceptile, but not to the same degree. They showed how Ash Greninja is a whole new level that is a step above Mega Evolution. Like, Mega Evolution is a close bond, but then Ash Greninja is a whole new level to that. And I think they did a really good job this episode doing that. And then the best reaction, I think, of the episode was when we see the Mega Shuriken come out, you know, full-sized, and then, you know, just the look on Sawyer Sceptile's face. It was just like, Sawyer and Mega Sceptile were just like, beep, and they're just like, oh, it's over, it's over. You know, shoot the leaf, shoot the leaves. Just stop it, stop. Nope, it was, yeah, we just, bam, KO. KO, GG, game over. And Sawyer was at peace with that. I think he was. He realized, he put up a good fight. I think he realized at that moment that there was no winning. And, like, I liked how they showed Ash was taking damage as usual, so they stick with the king. I liked that fight because it felt like he was using Mega Greninja the right way. I mean, Ash Greninja was being used the right way, and the fight went really well. They stuck to canon, and it didn't go quickly one-sided, which a lot of the fights, I think that can be a big temptation, because, I mean, like, Altaria versus Mega Greninja went that way, too. And that's that. So, I hope you guys all enjoyed watching this episode. I hope those of you who decided to peruse through this enjoyed this as well. As you can tell, this is a little longer because I was kind of unpacking sort of how I felt about the series. I suppose I should do this in other discussions, which I may do in the future. But for now, I will see you later, and Draspee out. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's talk below about what you think about this episode, XYZ in general, and I will see you later. Draspee out.